Como.
Como was the dragon Stephen was thinking of a couple of parts ago. It was still playing on him through the whole last part, and so we decided to look it up.
Jangmo or Yangmo, however you pronounce it, then Hakamo. Hakamo.
Yeah, but it's Como, and...
Como. No wonder I forgot that name. It's kind of bland.
It's a bland name. Why's it got a hyphen in its fucking name? Are you meant to pronounce it as Como or Como-o or... I don't fucking know. Hopefully it'll show up in the anime eventually and we'll be able to have reference.
I couldn't remember it because of kind of a crap name, plus I haven't encountered it that often in the games. The only reason I end up remembering them half the time is because of how many times I encounter something.
Well, it does show up in a cool place. It shows up in that final trial, doesn't it? But yeah, in terms of the actual game on screen now, we've got our little spoken out of the way. We are now on Cinnabar, and this is the little research lab on Cinnabar. And the main reason why you'll come here, we're not quite at the point yet, but this is where they mysteriously developed a machine that can revive deceased fossil Pokemon.
And it takes a while to do, doesn't it?
Yeah, it takes a complete while to do. I'm going to be spacing it out, so I think I'll give him one of my fossils, just before I go to the mansion, then come back for it after the mansion. But yeah, I have 2 fossils, and I think I sort them both out in this one part. We'll see. But yeah, Helix fossil, that goes into Omanite, which in turn goes to Omastar, which is Lord Helix from Twitch Plays Pokemon. That is 3 years old now. I'm topical with my Maymays.
I wonder if the scientist in this is from a different country, because the way he speaks, it's sort of odd. He says, I take a little time.
Yeah, they do that with some characters, don't they? N speaks really quickly, doesn't he? Which I think is kind of fascinating. Even if you're on the full text speed, they speed up his text that little bit more, which is pretty fucking great. And it also works with his character as well, doesn't it? That he's a little bit unsure of himself, so he just spats out his words.
Yeah.
I think also Luca has some weird grammar sometimes. I think they sort of dropped it in the later games, but I think in Gen 4 and 5 he sort of has just awkward ways of saying things.
Can't remember properly.
Yeah, well... Anyway, moving into the Cinnabar Mansion, it's a really depressing kind of dungeon. I don't like this dungeon. Chris, you got any memories from it, mate?
Why don't you like it?
Well, I don't like it because mainly the floor pattern, but also it's just kind of a boring dungeon to traverse.
It's not too big though, is it?
It's not too big, but it has wild Pokemon. I guess in its defence, it does give us some of Mewtwo's lore. That's the one thing I can justify it by, but it's just such a visually unappealing dungeon.
Yeah.
Plus, it gave Mewtwo a birthday.
Yep, February 6th, isn't it?
2nd.
Is
It's
it?
either 6th or 2nd.
I'm pretty sure it's
You're
the 6th.
probably right.
I'm probably right because I'm good at being right, and we'll find the book and I'll be proved wrong, and then I'll look like a right twat for bragging. But yeah, the main gimmick is there's these stack shoes which open and close certain doors. I think I'll be doing it the most efficient way. I might walk off track a little bit because,
I think you're probably right. It probably is the 6th. I think I was probably thinking it was the 2nd, purely because February being the 2nd month.
Maybe. The brain has a weird way of doing things and not doing things. I think a lot of the trainer battles here, most of them are optional, but they're burglars. This place, is it even worth breaking into? You steal some old books about Mewtwo and that's about all there is here.
Get some sort of key.
You get the key for the gym.
Yeah, so...
Even though the people are already in the gym, so if they've just been locked in all the time, just sort of, entertaining themselves somehow.
Starving away.
Yeah. Blaine, we haven't eaten in 3 weeks.
No wonder they don't have full teams when you're going there.
Yeah, they've eaten the fucking Rapidash.
Hey, they're fire types, they're cooking themselves.
Yes. Well, that is part of my defence why I like the Pig Nightline, though. It's bacon that cooks itself, you can't knock that.
One of the interesting cards for the Pig Nightline, or Tepig line, it's like each evolution, it shows it with a family.
Oh,
the family's
I've
getting
seen
older
that.
with it as it evolves.
Yeah, I have seen that. I like that kind of continuity between the cards. The trading card game has had some really good art over time. Like, there's also some shit art, like the Tomokazu Kamaya one. I think that's the dude's name. And there's also the worst of the worst, which were the early black and white era 5-band graphics. It is the most generic CG-looking art possible. If you think of the first black and white anime opening, the art style they used in that, it's sort of like that, but a bit more plasticky, and they all look horrible. I prefer generally either the 2D art or I forget the name of the artists who did a lot of the X series 3D art, but they were really cool. But yeah, like, the TCG's had its ups and downs. I also have a soft spot for the Kensugimori artwork. Like, yes, it is stock art that they recycle on everything, but it looks cool. I like his particular art style, particularly the sort of mid-2000s one. Like, he's got a bit more, like, tall, lanky with his art in recent times, which I'm not that keen on, but I can take it. But yeah, there are wild Raticates here, which is probably a health risk, you know?
They just look so vicious in this.
They do, they've got their massive giant fucking teeth sticking out, and it's like, you're gonna fucking spread some sort of diseases.
It looks like it is ready to lunge for your throat.
It does. Like, how big are they again, like, relative to a person?
I have no idea. I want to think like 4 foot or something. It's Pokemon, so...
It possibly could be. How big is Charizard? Because I
He's
remember...
5'3", I think.
So he's probably about the same height as a person, really, isn't he?
He's shorter than me, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Like, you think of Charizard just from his design, you think he's going to be huge, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty
I mean,
high.
Dunsparce is the size of Salamence.
Oh, that is fucking great, isn't it? Imagine a fucking dragon-sized dung beetle.
Is
Holy
that what
shit.
Dunsparce is?
It's a dung beetle, isn't it? It looks like it, at least.
I cannot see that. It's got like these little feathery wings on its back. It's got a drill sort of shaped tail at the end. It's got a really weird face. I don't see a dung beetle in that at all.
Yeah, I kind of do. I guess it's probably like just loosely based on... Like, what about Stunfisk? How big Stunfisk?
I can't remember. I'm just going to go with the easy one and say about 4 foot. That's based on like how long it is. Because again, Dunsparce is based on its length as well.
In the anime though, they correct these heights, don't they?
They make them more
They make
reasonable.
them-
Yeah. So Charizard actually looks like you could ride on its back.
Yeah.
And isn't Charizard like the shortest one as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
Other Charizards are bigger than him.
Yeah, because he's not quite matured.
Yeah, he's like the lesser trained of all of them, and they sort of visually show that by making him physically smaller.
Do like the lore for Mewtwo in this? It's like, instead of making it seem like he was a clone, it says that Mewtwo was born.
Yeah, well, I kind of get his test tube baby sort of thing going from what they're communicating here, which is kind of cool. I do prefer the clone logic just because that creates it as the two teams, doesn't it? And it makes him more of an outsider, that he's not natural.
Don't know if it did or not. We've gone past the diaries. I think it did say that the Mew gave birth. I think.
So Mew was pregnant with Mewtwo.
Yeah, it had a Mew, and then they experimented on it and transformed it.
Okay, that's like...
Makes it darker.
Well, it kind of makes you question the genetic engineering, because at that point you're going into like genetic modification, like affecting natural births, and that's the kind of... That raises some ethical questions, doesn't it? Because like there are some people who are always going to be opposed to genetic modification, because that can like... You worry about the lasting effects on the species. Like, what if that wild Mew were to like reconceive later? Would that affect it? And then what if the Mewtwo were to breed? Could the Mewtwo breed? Like, yeah, I know technically in game Mewtwo can't breed, but like if you're thinking about this the way they're communicating it, as though it's like being birthed, then that kind of communicates that maybe it can. It's weird. I know we're getting far too deep for a fucking Pokemon game here, but
It's also suggested that Mr. Fuji was one of the scientists that helped create Mewtwo.
His name's in some of the books, isn't it?
I
think so. Yeah. I will bring up now my main problem with this dungeon. Look at that fucking floor. Just look at it.
That is an eyesore.
It is. Even on a fucking Game Boy screen, it's painful to look at. Because it's just like the checkerboard and it's moving as you walk. It's uncomfortable to look at, especially for the period of time that you're going to be spending here. But yeah, I think I have got lost in here a few times over the years. It's not the most memorable direction to go through. It's not even a thing like, say, Silphco, where, you know, as long as you remember to go on that tile and back off that tile, then you can get through fight. No, this is just a work it out sort of dealio. And it has wild encounters as well, which makes it far more irritating.
At least you can find Growlithe.
Yeah, there are Growliths around here, I believe. Most of the time you just end up fighting fucking Raticates, though.
And Grimers.
Yeah, Raticate and Grimer, you know, the best Pokemon to encounter. The two biggest health risks.
Yep.
The Rabiesmon. Was rabies canon in the Pokemon universe? A game theory.
Oh god, don't.
It reminds me of one of these things that, like, someone made a post about, like, one of the cars in Cars is referenced as a World War II vet. I remember seeing this post about that. They'd taken a screenshot from some wiki or something, and that just makes it proof that at one point there would have been a car Hitler who would have gassed loads of car Jews. There would have been a car Holocaust in that universe.
Would he have even needed to gas them? They create emissions as it is, so...
Jesus Christ.
You'd just lock them in a room.
Oh my god. The car Holocaust is so fucking dark. Yeah, the car Holocaust is basically like some fucking, you know... It works out like one of these suicide cults eventually.
Oh
no! I'm just bringing this up as like a little tangent. How did we get to this? Oh my god. Anyway, here's a mark. Let's change the topic.
Oh god.
Yeah.
What have you done?
I like muck in the anime, you know, when it sort of covers Professor Oak up whenever Ash video calls him. Imagine if that was a Lola muck, like, because they got like the rocky bits around their mouth and that. That would have been far more painful.
Oh god, yeah, just like digging into him.
Yeah, digging into him, and it's dark type as well, so it might have a bit more malice.
Oh, I do prefer a Lola muck.
I don't know. I still see it as cum lips.
That's Grimer, and it's custard.
Does it lose it when it's muck?
Yes.
It
goes full on rainbow effect.
So it's
and I think
gay cum lips. Got you.
I think it's meant to be based on like an oil spill. When you look at it, it's got that rainbow effect.
That makes a bit more sense, yeah, at least. So I'll give them credit for that. It's sponsored by BP, but... Topical joke also, I know. How long ago was that? Like 2011 or some shit?
A long time ago.
Yeah. If you can't tell, I'm really not topical with my humour.
I was going to say, what if you battled Peter in Pokemon? But that's already happened.
Pokemon Black and Blue, yeah.
And guess what? They turned out to be arseholes.
Who would have knew? Yeah. P, what's that stand for? That's people eating tasty animals, right?
Oh, that's perfect.
Right, before we go into the gym, I need to retrieve my Pokemon from this guy.
Yeah, it tells you that you've been away for a while, wonders where you've been, when you can just step outside the place and re-enter, and he'll say exactly the same thing, considering...
I didn't even have to step out there. Just start talking to him again, and he reintroduces himself. But yeah, the old Amber is the one that revives into, in my opinion, the coolest fossil Pokemon, which is Aerodactyl.
Yep.
It's a rock-flying type, and yeah, I don't know how usable it is.
It's really fast, really strong. Plus, its Mega Evolution makes it even faster and stronger.
Awesome.
And it's got Strong Jaw, which increases the power of biting moves. Could have done with something like Tough Claws, that way every move gets a boost.
Yeah, well, You take what you can get, really.
Yeah.
Right? Chris, you got a favourite fossil one?
I'm trying to think of what they are. I think Aerodactyl.
Kabutops and Omastar from this generation.
Well, yeah, probably Aerodactyl, Kabutops, then Hamster.
I would agree with you. I only picked Omastar here because dated memes.
Thing is, I think Master is generally the best one to use because it's more defensive, it's got decent attack, and it can learn Shell Smash.
Oh, right. What's Shell Smash do?
Decreases defensive special defense, but it increases its attack and special attack and speed. But if you have it hold a power herb, gets rid of the loss of the special defense and defense.
Oh, right. Not
So
bad.
it just becomes really powerful.
Not bad. Anyway, this gym's gimmick is because Blaine is a quizmaster. Each of these machines has a little quiz question. If you get it right, you can avoid the trainer. If you get it wrong, then you have to fight them. I was half tempted to show off some of the trainers, but then I realised that would make me look dumb, and you wouldn't believe me that I was doing that intentionally. So
But you can do the quiz and then battle them anyway,
you can, but yeah, didn't think of it.
which is what I did.
I suppose
I
it is
wanted
a little
to
bit of
level up.
experience, isn't it?
I was just like, I'm not going to put these poor saps to waste.
Imagine if they just get a series of smart trainers though, just ignore them and it's like, hey guys, I'm here, you know. Hey, ready for a battle whenever you are.
I like the fact that it's like, it says, is there a move called Tombstoner?
Do you find something funny about the word tromboner? Do you remember that?
Yeah, The Simpsons.
I love that.
It's so childish, but only recently having known about him replaying the game, it's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
It's not actually funny, but I'll laugh.
I laugh because it tickled that particular spot on my sense of humour. Yes, Blaine, I noticed he looks much fatter in his overall sprite than he does in his actual sprite. As you can see, he uses fire types. I have both Nidoqueen and Blastoise, which are good against fire types, so this really isn't that big of a deal to me. Even though I am technically underleveled, it's really not that big of a deal because I have my type advantage. Favourite fire type, Chris?
Probably is.
Just say Charizard already,
yeah.
go on, you know you want to.
I don't need to answer.
There we go, Charizard. Alright, let's make this more interesting. Runners up.
Growlithe.
Growlithe?
No, what's his, wherever his ever...
Arcanine.
Arcanine, that's it.
Arcanine's pretty based, yeah. Steven?
Let's see. Infernape?
Infernape's pretty cool, actually, yeah. He does have the fire fighting curse, doesn't he?
And he was my first starter after not playing Pokemon since Gen 1.
Oh, yeah, there is.
So there's a bit more nostalgia to him.
And his arse is always on fire, isn't it? Or is that
Not
just
his
Chimchar?
arse. Chimchar and Monferno have their tail on fire.
Oh, right.
And then the flame isn't on his tail anymore, it's on his head.
Oh, right. Yeah, I did like Ash's Infernape in the anime. That had a good bit of character development, you know, for initially not being able to tame Flare and then learning that, and just generally becoming a really powerful Pokemon.
It's the fact that they go all the way through this arc with it. It's like, they don't bugger off with it and forget about it like half the stuff in Black and White.
Yeah, well, Black and White had the problem of they gave Ash too many Pokemon to actually develop them, and that sort of putting them in rotation. It means that there's less screen time for each individual Pokemon.
And he pretty much went into the finals with not even a really good team. A bunch of them aren't even fully evolved.
Yeah.
Or evolved.
I can appreciate with Sinnoh how they did bring back some of his better Pokemon. That lets Sceptile have his little moment to shine.
Heracross.
And Heracross as well. Yeah, Heracross didn't really get much time originally, did he? I think he showed up in the Johto League, but other than that, he was just a sort of their does the job Pokemon, didn't he? I think he brought back Noctowl in Sinnoh as well, didn't he? At one point.
Yeah, he did. I'm pretty sure it was in the finals.
Yeah, and also I like how it took Cyndaquil 10 years of actual time to evolve.
Yep.
That they had clearly been putting that off for too long.
It's like, Dawn Cyndaquil already done it.
Yeah. But, you know. There, we've got our Aerodactyl and it's in the box. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be using it because my team is basically set now.
So they did bring out another rock flying type in Gen 5, Archeops.
I kind of like that, but it looks like a less cool version of Aerodactyl.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on being the first Pokemon to fly. Archeops would be a really good Pokemon if its ability wasn't utter shit. It's defeatist, and when the Pokemon reaches half health, its stats halve.
Oh, why?
It's naturally got really high stats. If it didn't halve, it would be ridiculously good.
Oh,
It
it's
would be
nerf.
it would be better than Aerodactyl. Pretty sure of it.